And even Richie doesn't even experience the being sent there as a good thing. He experiences it, frames it as being sent away.
Getting rid of.
You're annoying, go away. You're needy, go away. And so,
as opposed to this amazing honor, he's not able to recognize what it is.
Not only an honor, but also thoughtfulness, care, support.
So in this series, we're examining the attachment themes strewn throughout the FX Hulu show, The Bear. We will be discussing in detail each episode as the story unfolds, so that you can watch or rewatch before you listen and then follow along with our discussion. We have seen all the episodes, but we won't discuss any content beyond the episodes we're discussing. So if you haven't seen the show, press pause now, go watch, and hop back on to the podcast.
We are back. Back again.
I don't know that song.
Okay.
I didn't grow up in the church, so I don't know those.
I'm pretty sure that was either New Kids or Backstreet Boys.
Okay. Also, I went to Backstreet Boys. No, I went to New Kids on the Block.
Recently? Like their
No. When
their geriatric tour?
When I was an adolescent. In high school. I'm not really proud of that because I didn't go the first tour. I went the second tour. And by the time the second tour came along, I was like, this is embarrassing. Anyways, I went. So
okay.
That's how I'm better than you.
If that's how, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
All right. So we're back again to chit chat and share a drink. And
Chit chat. That's my biggest pet peeve.
Oh, really?
When clients, clients have said like, let's schedule appointments so we can chit chat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what you think we do, but chit chat is not it. But here we chit chat.
Yeah, no. We chit chat quite a bit on text. Through memes.
No one can know. No one will ever know. Yes. So season 2 of The Bear, we are rocking and rolling, just pushing our way through it.
Barreling through.
It's such a good show.
Especially season 2.
Yes. And I'm ready to be done with it.
Yeah.
Both are true.
Yeah, that's right.
But this episode is exciting.
Yes.
Exciting? I don't know if that's the right word.
This is such a relief from the previous episode, which was fishes.
Yes.
This is forks.
Which ended, like the last episode ended with, or towards the end, throwing forks.
Correct. Yeah.
At each other's,
and landed in
random family member's head.
Cannoli.
Yes, that's right.
And so this episode sort of begins with the reclaiming of the cannoli.
They should have had a cannoli. Was there a cannoli in this episode?
Actually, I think I'm getting ahead. I think that's in Bolognese, the next episode.
We said there'd be no spoilers.
I know, so sorry.
Look what you just did.
I just did it. I knew it.
I knew it. Where is she gone? That's a side story. Okay. Yes, this one is fork.
Yes.
And plural. And I keep describing this episode as like not emotional, which is funny to me because I keep crying
quite
throughout.
Yes.
And right. Here at home when watching, just getting verklempt, which is not an uncommon thing for me. Like when things are happy, when things are good, when things to celebrate or like just pride in someone, like I get emotional. Like I can watch a stupid Hallmark commercial and I'm like, what's going on? And it's just happiness. But anyhow, this show is emotional. I keep saying it's not, or this episode in particular.
Yeah. This episode in particular is not traumatic. In fact, it might be just the opposite. It's a healing episode.
Mm-hmm.
So we might be getting ahead of ourselves.
We might be.
Because?
Well, several reasons. But one in particular, I think the show is good about taking us through pain and through the trenches and then doing some repair.
Yeah.
And giving us some relief and then throwing us back in. But one way we might be getting ahead of ourselves is we haven't talked about a drink yet.
That's the only way that I really care about right now.
Okay, there we go. We'll
Because
talk
you've
about that.
made us
I made another cocktail.
another amazing cocktail.
This is one of my signatures, my little staples that we have at home.
It's also true.
Signature is not the right word. Staple is what I was looking for.
Yeah, staple, but signature, because my wife's family in particular knows you as the person who makes this. Because one time...
Still haven't got an invite. That's fine.
You made this poolside.
I did.
You were in the pool, and we brought you the entire bar, and you made our family drinks while you were in the pool.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because it was so good.
Yeah. So it's just a maple old fashioned. So it's a play on an old fashioned, but instead of simple syrup, you use maple syrup, and it gives it a different kind of texture, a little more silky. Yeah. And it's really good. So easy. Quick, easy, yet it feels like a fancy drink. Mm-hmm.
Everyone who knows the Michael Ashenfelter knows he fancy.
Oh, I'm very fancy. I used to deny it. I used to not be proud of it, but now I will wear that badge.
Yeah, in part because it came to you in an insult. You had to disentangle that.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just you.
Now it's just me.
It's just,
as I'm in a vibrant pink Barbie sweater. Nothing fancy about me. I was talking about.
No, in a white linen shirt.
White linen shirt. Cashmere pink. It's fine. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no one really supported. I shouldn't say no one. That's a little too strong.
Okay.
But there were too many ways in which your best self was not supported. Your unique individual self wasn't supported. And also then not quite then delighted in.
Well, yeah, I think part of my fanciness was trying to take care of everyone as part of how it came out.
Yeah, compensatory. Or that's just how you expressed your care for people.
That's how I expressed my care for people. Yeah. And it's also how I received and got their praise. Whether it's parents, friends, youth group. But yeah, now it's a part that I delight in, and that I do it not just for them, but I do it for me.
Yeah.
That's been my new favorite Sunday routine, actually, is in the evening. I start around 2:00 and I pick a really outrageous. Have we talked about this before? You and I probably have, but.
Yes, I'm just laughing at in the evening, starting
at
2 p.m. And there's
Usually,
like musicians that are like, I just woke up because I play a set at 9 p.m.
Well, usually around 2, I start researching, and then I go to the store, and I usually make an extravagant meal.
Yeah.
It's just for me and my wife.
Yeah. True story.
I usually make a drink or cocktail to go with it, and it's just a whole evening thing.
I have photo evidence of this phenomenon.
So I really enjoyed it. I like being fancy.
Because you are.
Bougie is another adjective that people have given me that I've now embraced.
Yeah, that can be a little complicated term, but yeah. You fancy.
Mm-hmm.
And you made a fancy drink.
Yeah.
Because you fancy.
All right. We can cut as much as that we need to, Aaron, there.
Oh my gosh, not. It's all true. I was trying to rope it into the 5 conditions.
Oh, that would have been nice.
I was doing it. You just
How in the world do we get from fancy to 5 conditions?
Because it's your true self.
Oh.
And it's an aspect of you that wasn't entirely supported.
Right.
Your unique self.
Mm-hmm.
And then also it wasn't nearly as delighted in.
Yeah.
This particular part of you that's fancy and bougie and silky and.
Well, but that is part of it. I don't know if we're going to still go here, but in this direction. But part of my fanciness that I was disavowed from, not connected with, was that it presented as more feminine.
Well, that's right.
Right. So I didn't like it about myself. I felt it was an insult from others, even though they could delight in the product I would provide or the service I'd provide. But like the me.
Yeah, it came with some baggage.
Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
Again, but here in pretty pink today. Let's go. But yes, today we're going to talk about the 5 conditions that help foster security of attachment.
Yep.
Earn security.
Promote.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so
conversely,
it
could be also thought of as then some conditions that are required for the repair of attachment disturbances, to move oneself from and to move others from insecurity towards security. You're going to need these 5 conditions on repeat and copious amounts at times, some more than others.
I think that's one thing I've struggled with my clients this week in particular. I have 2 or 3 cases, and all 3 of those, thinking through, all 3 are like, when does this get better? It's like, it gets better when we repeat it over and over. Like, it's not a one-time, hey, look, we're done. Like, hey, I said I'm sorry.
Yep.
Nope. Like, it's just corrective emotional experience experienced over and over and over again that builds trust, safety, security, all that stuff.
Yeah. Another way I would say that, though, is that it has to move beyond experience and move into capacity.
See, I say it has to move beyond cognition. It has to move past the knowing, and we have to actually embody it and feel it.
Yeah.
Know it that way, as opposed to just knowing it theoretically in our mind.
Yeah. This is where we can fight. Because
or slap.
Slap, as the case may be. Oh my God, that is so funny on so many levels. I don't poo-poo thinking.
Oh, I don't either.
You just did.
No. It just wasn't enough.
Yes, but
it's part of the process.
If it's embodied,
we're gonna fight.
If it's embodied but not thought about,
it has to be both.
It's just that
it can't be embodied until it's thought about. So you have to go through.
Again, I don't agree with that. But
well, it's okay that you're wrong.
I know, it's so true. It's so true. It's so true. What you'll find in EFT circles.
But I've also found in Brown and Elliott circles, in particular Brown.
First of all, there's no circles, but you found it in the book.
No, not in the book. It's post-book. Is that Brown is saying that you can reverse the pillars. In fact, you might do that. Yes. Yeah. Am I proving my point? No.
I don't know how you're proving the point. Because
the audience has no idea what we're talking about.
That's true. You're bifurcating. Part of it is this so ethereal, so it's so academic. The point being is it has to be a whole person.
Yes, we agree.
Yes, it has to be a whole person. And when people can experience it in their body, but they can't think about it, it's of very little use, because thinking about it is what makes us so exquisitely and delightfully human to then communicate it.
Yeah, I just don't think thinking about it is going to help us experience it. But we can experience and then think.
Yeah, why can't we think about it and then experience?
There's no reason why you can't. You can. Right, I just don't think you're going to get there as fast, and it's not going to be fully embodied.
It's about efficiency.
Yeah.
Cheers. It's weird being wrong, isn't it?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so the 5 conditions.
Which I'm going to lean on you because I don't know this part that well.
That's because...
But let's say that. No, but seriously. No. I'm going to lean more on you to theoretically talk about it through the 5 conditions. And to talk about forks and how cousin Richie is supported by these 5 conditions, which helped him. And the part that I get teary about is seeing his growth, much like I have done with Tina throughout the entire series. Like seeing her growth just gets me overwhelmed, gets me excited, gets me happy, elated to the point of tears. Let's talk about it. Help introduce what are these 5 conditions? What are the 5 conditions that help?
So these conditions are conditions that are present most of the time, more often than not, or they are presented over and over with repeated experiences. And they're also reflected
Not thoughts, but experiences.
I was just gonna say, and they are reflected on with language, with communication.
Language matters.
Yes, it does. Yes. It so matters. All language matters. So the 5 conditions, especially in children, because children are less cognitive, they need it to be in a felt sense kind of way. So they need to not just be safe, but they need to feel safe. They need to not just be comforted or soothed, but they have to feel soothed.
Yep.
To feel comforted, a felt sense of that. They have to not just be seen, but a felt sense of being seen or being understood. And then they need support for being their best individual self, their unique self, and then they also need to be delighted in. So expressed delight, and expressed delight has to be genuine, so it's got to be in the body, but it also has to be expressed with verbal and nonverbal ways of communication. So these are the 5 different conditions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't like yell at a child, "I see you," or "I understand that," because the child's not going to then feel understood.
It's not embodied.
Or there's a disconnect between verbal and nonverbal communication, right? There's a
Sorry, I'm having such a hard time because what I'm hearing you say is they intellectually know you're saying,
no, they don't intellectually know it. They just know that you say it.
But they understand the language.
That's right.
Right. But they don't embody the experience.
They know but they also embody, or they feel. I'm not saying that it's not that it can't be in the body. It has to be in the body.
I just think of this often. It makes me giggle because like there'll be sessions I have and like one partner is like, "Dang it, why don't you know I love you?" And it's just like, just so emphatic and demanding that they know that they're loved. And it's like, oh, well, but that right there is actually scary.
Yes.
That's not.
That's right. That's right.
That's not felt, it's received, experienced as, oh, you love me.
Yes. But part of that is because the person can't reflect on the fact that the person does actually love them. They can't use their thinking. They just use their feeling. And so they emotionally think. And emotional thinkers are people with borderline personality disorder, for example, who cannot
That's a far stretch.
No, that's exactly what it is.
Well, it is,
emotional thinkers.
There's a whole plethora. There's a whole continuum.
It's a dynamic
exists.
there.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Like you have to be able to think.
Yes. We have to have a brain.
Well, it's not just a brain. You have to be able to think, because where else is the body but in the brain? That's what we mean by the body. We don't mean, because you can be an amputee and still have a body. I don't have any more legs, but I have a body. And the body is actually in the brain. It's the representation of the body in the brain.
We're getting in the weeds.
Slice, 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 slice. So these 5 conditions need to be there.
Thank you.
And they need to be there often. And it has to be congruent. It has to be genuine. And it has to be effectively communicated. And that requires attunement to how that other person is going to receive it. Right? So there's got to be a thoughtfulness about how, for example, a child will feel delighted in. The amount of closeness and intimacy and physical proximity.
They also have to exist in your mind. It's just not you, your body, your mind, what you mean.
Yeah.
The receiver.
Or intend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has to exist in your mind.
So I think we have no evidence in Richie, cousin, that he feels like he belongs anywhere.
Yeah. He's just been dealt blow after blow. In this episode in particular, he found out that his ex-wife accepted a proposal from another man.
Really is dating somebody else. Really is moving on.
Yeah. Just right after an attempt to maybe it'll rekindle.
Yeah.
Like, look what I'm doing good. Hey, I scored some tickets to Taylor Swift.
I want to spend time with you.
You're invited.
Yeah.
Come with me. Come with
our
us.
Family.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
And he has no purpose, as you reminded me. It was in the first episode of this season.
Yeah.
And
his beloved family beef shop is ending.
And he doesn't seem to have any sort of connection to his own Polish roots, and finds himself in this Italian family.
Because who doesn't want to be Italian?
First of all. Second of all. So we have all sorts of evidence the way in which Richie can be aggressive, unnecessarily intrusive, obstinate, uncooperative, divisive, ego-driven. You know, all these things suggest that he did not have these 5 conditions in his childhood that supported and supported his own security of attachment. And so in his arc, I think we've been seeing it for some time, but here's a crescendo. He's going to be put in a family or a team. He's going to be sent to stage at a top restaurant in the world. And I think he's going to start experiencing all 5 conditions from various characters. But one thing that we've been talking about earlier was how Richie has a difficult time even recognizing that he's experiencing these 5 conditions.
Right. It's hard to, what we talked about, it's hard to see security, the offer of security.
Yeah. From an insecure
space.
Yeah.
So he's entering into this amazing restaurant that is so buttoned up, yet people, you can tell the staff feels proud, excited. Everyone has their place. Everyone, like the way they even talk about the dishwashers is like, we have the best dishwashers in the world.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing that's beneath, high, below. There's everyone has a purpose, a place, and is a part of a team. Yeah, a sense of pride.
Yep, a sense of belonging to one another.
Belonging. That's what I was looking for. Like everyone belongs.
Yeah.
In this environment, and enters cousin Richie.
Yeah, and even Richie doesn't even experience the being sent there as a good thing. He experiences it, frames it as being sent away, getting rid of. You're annoying, go away. You're needy, go away. And so,
as opposed to this amazing honor, he's not able to recognize what it is.
Not only an honor, but also thoughtfulness, care, support. Believed in.
Yeah, I believe you can grow here. Not that you're not good enough, but they're going to tap into something. They're going to help you tap in to yourself and your surroundings. But one thing we saw quite a bit, and it's something you commented on, that you really love this line of respect for himself. Like the back of house manager was encouraging him. It was like, I need you to have respect for me, the people here, but most of all, I need you to have respect for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's
and he wasn't encouraging in a kind of warm, soft, feminine way. He was encouraging him in a very masculine, confrontative way of, this is what I need you to do. And this is what you need to do. You need to respect yourself.
Yeah. There's a great example of how like just attachment itself, the theory, is not this lovely pink shirt. Soft.
Yeah, it's not bosomy. It's not only.
Right.
It is whole. It is that, and also confrontation. It is anger. What we Freudians would say aggression. But that can be complicated for folks, but conceptually, it's an assertiveness. It's an aggression. It is a straighten up. I have enough respect for you to confront you, to tell you to stop, or I have enough self-respect for myself that I'm not going to be treated this way. And in these ways, it's a support of his best self.
Yes.
Find your best self through self-respect. We do not see you cleaning forks or polishing forks as beneath ourselves. So don't you see it beneath you.
Yeah. Which is a hard task. Where you've come from.
Sure. Yeah, that's right.
This would be.
That's right.
Seen as less than grunt work.
Punishment.
Yeah.
And humiliation.
Not a part of something.
Yeah.
You're not belonging. You're being pushed aside.
And there's a way in which they see his bullshit. Excuse the language. There's a way in which they're seeing him. And are able to call him in. Right? Like they don't just call him out, which I think is probably what would happen at the Bear.
Oh, it'd be chaos.
Somebody like Carmi, they would be calling him out, but in a way that
was embarrassing. That was
humiliating, perpetuates chaos and
perpetuates the need to protect.
Yeah. It's threatening, but there's a way in which they call him in,
right?
To say, hey, you belong to us. You belong to the system. We need you. You have a role. It's honorable. Do it well.
I really love how they also just demonstrate how you have a role, as do I. I'm going to fulfill my role.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about my role. I've got my role. And if you need help, ask for it. But otherwise, we all have a role to do. And if we all do our role and we take pride in it, then we'll be fine. It was very much a secure environment. I know who I am.
Yeah.
I know who you are.
Yeah. I know my limits. I know my needs. In fact, I sort of know yours, maybe more than you know.
Yeah. I thought that was really well expressed when he was helping the person, whoever's like orchestrating all the dishes and plates
going
and
out
timing
to the tables. Yeah.
And she's able to play a bit, but when she needs to focus, she says, stop, go over there.
Yeah. I need you there.
Get out of my way.
So I can focus.
I need 1 minute.
Yep.
And she sticks to it.
Yeah.
She says what she means and means what she says.
Absolutely.
And then she calls him back in to play.
Yeah.
She sees his curiosity. She sees his investment to understand. And then she encourages it.
Yep.
And then as she encourages, he gets more excited.
Yeah.
There's so many lovely dances.
There's a way in which she sort of delights in his curiosity.
There you go.
And that's sort of crescendo toward the end of the episode, where it's the 3 head folks that we see, the head back staff, front staff, and the plate coordinator, those 3 characters. And he's and Richie's doing a taste testing and they're just having fun and
they're quizzing him.
Quizzing him and delighting in his unrefinedness that is authentically him.
Yeah.
They're not shaming him. The only thing they try and button up, to use your word, is the language.
Right.
The way in which Richie comes with F-bombs all
very
the time.
brashness, yeah.
But other than that, they embrace his energy, his probably South Side Chicago-ness-ish.
Something else I really appreciate that I see evolve is as these conditions, as Richie is starting to experience these 5 conditions in different ways, you see his investment shift.
The way he wakes up a little easier every morning. Yep, a little earlier every morning.
He tidies up a little more. The self-care piece starts to come through.
Yeah.
But the part that excites me was his eagerness to participate. When he caught the vision, when it's infectious.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, what would you say that was, like, of the 5 conditions? What would you say he's really engaging with there? That what's being provided there that encourages that excitement and that participation?
I don't know in terms of the 5 conditions, but what that reminded me of is how security of attachment, like other mental health healing, and like perhaps many other things, is caught rather than so taught. There's got to be a point where it becomes sort of transcendent. And I think that this episode in particular demonstrates the necessity for community, that healing can't happen without community, a larger system. The episode opens up with references to the team and how exciting it is to be part of a team, whether you're the coach, player, support staff. Richie is dropped into a large system, and he catches the system's security across time. You know, this is obviously fiction. It's sped up. Yeah. I don't think change really occurs necessarily in a week like that, but
you can have some mountaintop experiences.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just may not be lasting change. Yeah.
And I think we'll see in episodes later, and especially season 3, where
we actually saw it right away as soon as he's done, and he gives the phone call.
That's right.
He's already
absolutely right. That's right. It's almost like an undoing. He brings all that insecurity of attachment and says and reiterates that story. Yeah, that Carmi sent him away. That you sent me there to humiliate me and
to get rid of me, humiliate me.
Yeah, so sad. Even in the midst of having these wonderful experiences and growing,
but I think that's also because he doesn't know how to grieve yet either. And so he was grieving leaving the place, leaving the beef, and leaving the fancy restaurant. Like he wanted to stay. He felt like he belonged, and it was another. Even though it was a good thing, that like we've done our job. You've completed what you came here for, but he still felt connected and wanted to be a part of it. And they kept their boundary. They kept their their boundary and said, no, tomorrow's your last phase. So I think he was grieving, and that's part that no one's been with him in. No one's been with him to teach him how to grieve and to grieve with him. And so it sends him back into his insecurity.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And in part because the security isn't so secure yet, he doesn't recognize that that he really does have a place to go. He really does have a role. He really does have a purpose. Yeah. He really does have a place where he belongs. He can't quite trust that. So the grief of leaving something is magnified because it probably is felt subjectively inside him as this is the only place I really know that I belong, because he can't recognize that he belongs somewhere else. Yeah, that's and perhaps it triggers that rant of
just sends him back to his old narrative.
Yep,
that he's lived with for so long. So
I want to talk about the chef and that time that he's peeling the mushrooms, the skin of the mushrooms,
which we giggled about. I was like, I don't know if anyone would actually notice. I say anyone. What I'm saying is, I don't think I would notice. If a mushroom was peeled.
Yeah. Have you ever peeled one?
Yes. Not on purpose, but yeah.
I don't know what they taste like. The texture.
I don't know if I didn't notice when I ate it.
Yeah. Well, we should taste test that.
Yeah, we'll try it out
on a Sunday when you are making us all dinner.
My gourmet.
It's such a the actress is just divine. love her on all of her roles. But she's so comforting. She's so soothing. She's so reassuring.
She's so present.
Sure, and very present, yes. I think all 5 conditions that promote security of attachment require a degree of presence and self-awareness and groundedness and your own security. But I think what she's particularly offering is that comforting, soothing piece that no other character was necessarily providing, that he really needed and really responded to really well.
He also had a reverence for her. Like his brashness didn't exist with her. Yeah. Because I commented earlier, like his brashness is like, read the room. Like when you're standing behind and you're dropping F-bombs, or like you're out in the dining area and you're making these offhand comments. He didn't seem to read the room there.
Yet he also had a kind of, he didn't read the room of like, this is the chef. Stop asking questions. Just say, yes, chef. Speak when spoken to.
Right.
That I think a lot of the other staff would have carried themselves that way. And he brought his authentic self of inquisitiveness, of relationalness, that he's really good with people.
Yeah.
And she provided the conditions to really allow that to occur, to foster that, for him to display that. And so thwarted all of the like quid pro quo, debt owing, ego driven sorts of things. Thanks for doing, car me a favor. Oh, I don't do favors.
The interesting thing to me there is that he believed her.
Yeah, sure. Right. Like that's
like in all the other cases, he doesn't.
That's right.
It's not like you tell me one thing and I'll believe it. You're going to have to prove it to me and do it again.
Yeah. That's this piece of this arc that he seems to be changing under these conditions. He seems to be standing on more secure ground within him, let alone around him. And therefore he can believe when people are being honest, that they are being honest, that they really do mean what they say and they say what they mean. Yeah, absolutely. It's beautiful.
It's so much that gets him to start talking about emotional history and relationships and connection of like, he doesn't get along with his father. He didn't get along with his father, and that his best friend's mom, he considered more of a mother.
So precious.
Yeah. It's so the sad. Walls were just like broken down. In other places he'd be like, don't talk to me about that crap. Like he'd make some homophobic comment about it.
Yep. Belittling, humiliating, teasing, comical. And he so clearly wanted more.
Oh, he was just bathing in it.
That broke my heart when he ran after her and she wasn't there.
Like what else? Yeah.
So clearly the work is unfinished.
Yeah.
But beautiful nevertheless. What other things?
I think we hit most of it. I think the only other part that we didn't highlight just fully, we talked about it, is the idea of that it invites curiosity. And you were talking about how he was asking more questions. And when we had kind of analyzed it earlier, I couldn't help think of children.
Oh yeah.
And the asking of why.
Yeah, it's good.
And they just, like in the past, I may have looked at why as like this annoying, like, don't ask me why. Because I said so. Is how I look at it. But to see it in the midst of security, and that curiosity is it's like a way to play. And
to connect.
Yeah, to connect and explore with and to be with. I just saw it as a really beautiful thing. And I wasn't put off by his curiosity.
Yeah.
When in other times, I think I would have been put off by.
Yeah.
Because there was something behind, and other times there's something behind his curiosity. It was like he already knew the answer, or he was trying to kind of trap in some way. Like he might ask a question about Sid's dish she made. Like, cousin, do we make risotto to go? In previous episodes. And so like it wasn't actually a true curiosity. It was I'm trying to catch someone. I'm trying to secure my space by putting someone else down. But here it was free play. It's like, oh, I want to know more.
And are you thinking particularly in that exchange with all the coded colors and numbers and symbols with?
I wasn't even thinking of that. I was thinking of with the chef.
Yeah.
And how he was like, well, so tell me, like, what did they say?
Yeah.
And he asked these questions that were really personal, of like, how did you get the money?
Yeah.
You don't ask that question.
Yeah.
But you could tell it wasn't a question of like,
it wasn't
rude. Yeah. It wasn't, it was
just honest, childlike,
yes,
genuine care.
But his curiosity was also very alive in trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
And
seeing the patterns and seeing the intelligence and seeing,
And you could see his excitement. Not only was the place infectious to him, but his excitement excited others.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you're interested.
Yeah, which is a great sign of a secure environment.
Yeah, let's play.
Secure community.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they're not threatened by that.
Yeah.
They're not like, oh, he's getting it. He's gunning for my job.
Yes.
That would be an insecure sort of environment, but rather just delighting in delight's sake, delighting in learning, of growing, of exploration, discovery. Yeah. That was beautiful too.
Yeah. So it was beautiful. It was great to see Richie's growth in earned security, even if it's brief. And just because it went away doesn't mean it's all gone, I would say. Yeah,
it doesn't mean it's not having an effect.
Right. Because what we find is that's actually, I think it's after that scene where he's talking to Carmi, that we see him clean up his apartment. Not for anyone else, but just for himself. Like no one else is coming over. So it doesn't, quote unquote, matter if it's dirty, but with that pride in self, no, he's worth being in his own clean apartment.
And that it's good for him.
Yeah.
Whether not just that he's worth it, but that it is wise, it's helpful, it's I think another place we touched on it, but maybe not just exactly this way. Another place that shows the arc towards security, like scoring and paying for Taylor Swift tickets. Crazy expensive.
Yeah.
Whether it's because of the favors that he had to pull in and
it's like he got favors, but
right?
He didn't buy them.
It's expensive favors, I would imagine. And the devastating loss of not going with the mother of your daughter, your former wife, whose wedding band I still wear. I don't know if you noticed that. Richie still wears his wedding ring.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's prominent in that scene as he's on the phone. That would be devastating.
Yeah.
To anyone in any time in any way. And I love that no matter that devastation and how he's experiencing the humiliation of stodging forks day after day after day, perhaps for the week. He receives the security, all the support, all the being seen, all the comforting, all the soothing, all the delighting in, right? Like, and there comes a time where he drives home where he's caught it. He's caught the bug. He's sort of tipped over and he's driving home and he's relishing in Taylor Swift songs. And it so could have easily gone, I'll never listen to her again. I hate her. Right? Like that's such a, whether it's reasonable or not, it's certainly predictable.
Sure. Yeah.
So many people respond to the grief in that kind of way.
By cutting off, shutting down, all or nothing, black and white. And he's still able to cling to the gorgeousness that is Taylor Swift, those songs, that particular song. Yeah, Marry Me. That's Marry right. Me, Juliet is the song, It's not clear that it's in part connected to his daughter, but it is connected to his daughter. Absolutely. I mean, there's so many reasons why to still delight in Taylor's music, because you're going to go with your daughter and it's going to be epic, and you're having an epic time at this staging. So I loved that scene. Him having such a great time with himself. It seems like the first time we ever see Richie having a pure good time. Just pure joy. Pure joy, pure of heart. And relief. It seems like he was feeling so much relief. Yeah, sure. No burdens. Yeah. Even the law of speed limits. And but yeah. Okay. I think there's more to talk about, but I think that's enough for this episode. What do you think? Yeah, no, I mean, I think we could go line by line and scene by scene and see all these ways in which he's growing and changing and being supported. But yeah, I like ending on that high note of his earned security and the relief that comes with that. Marry Me, Juliet. So, all right. So if anybody wants to score some Taylor Swift concert tickets. Do you have some? Oh my God, I don't, but I'll take them. I think she just performed her last episode. Last show. Yeah. Anyways, maybe. Who knows? I'll take a private concert. I'm used to those. Wow. Yes. All right. Till next time. It was fun. Cheers. To earn security. Bye.